to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and this session is all about quitting weed, cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. The client that I was working with had made some really positive changes in their life. They used to use cocaine. They don't use it anymore. They used to be quite a heavy drinker. They weren't drinking in the same way that they were. They changed certain social groups and certain things linked to an evaluation that that's not who they are anymore. They'd recently turned 30, and because of that, they were willing to let go of certain things that were in their past that they didn't really want to have in their future. And the next step on that journey was quitting weed. Now, what you're going to hear is a few really core things. A lot of it is based on regression. They get to regress back to that time and see themselves when they had those early experiences with weed and say, well, yeah, maybe it gave them something back then, but it certainly isn't giving them the same things now, and seeing a future that would happen if they continued down that path and contrasting that with the kind of future that they would want. There's also lots of references about growing out of stuff. Now, if you think about clothes that you used to wear, music you used to listen to back when you were a teenager, it's unlikely that you wear the same kind of clothes. The reference I make with this particular client is that they had a particular hairstyle where they would straighten their hair, and that was very unique to them. And then one day they just decided that they didn't think that was part of their identity anymore, and they changed it. And that didn't require struggle and willpower. It was just a choice because they grew out of that phase. Now, the reason why there's so many references to that, a lot of people have this unconscious belief that quitting something is a struggle, or that if you're addicted to something, somehow that's your identity forever. Think of the 12-step program. You're that way forever. And I don't believe that. I believe that humans have the ability to do certain things for a period of time, make a decision that they don't want to do it, and if it doesn't fit with their new identity, they can let go of that pretty quick. That's the essence of this. There's also an element of a ritual suggested, so that the way that this client was consuming weed was through cartridges, so the actual kind of vaping it rather than smoking it or using other ways. So there's a ritual here about a hammer smashing it up to 1,000,000 pieces. Now, the reason that I encourage people to have a ritual when they make that decision to quit something, and that might be someone having too much alcohol, they want to change the relationship to pouring it down the sink, is because it creates a very vivid memory and creates a new evaluation that if they are doing this thing, that something has changed. That's a very good way of building a form of belief known as self-efficacy, where you interpret the belief through the action that you take. In this case, it was throwing out paraphernalia, it was smashing up the cartridge, and it was doing it on a particular day before the rubbish, we would say in the UK, or the trash in the States, was carried away. And that was deliberate. So it's all part of establishing a ritual linked to a new identity and the overall sentiment that they've just grown out of this behavior. It doesn't have to be weed that you're giving up here. It could be anything that you decide you just don't want to do that thing anymore in the way that you used to. So you can think of that. And if you do like the idea of a bespoke session with me, and we just focus on whatever the thing is, the habit, the behavior that you're doing that you don't want to do anymore, there's a link in the description where you can book a free consultation call. We'll have a chat. I can explain how I work. And then I can actually do a session for you rather than you hearing someone else's. For now, though, you might get some value from this session. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, feel that wonderful feeling of release, as if any tension, stress, and worries are starting to leave your body in your outward breath. Breathing in relaxation and exhaling tension, where each breath takes you deeper and deeper relaxed. Breathing in and breathing out, just allow your eyelids to feel heavy and notice with your eyes closed how much easier it feels to focus on the sound of my voice. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. Each breath taking you deeper and deeper relaxed now. And I wonder if you can recall the very first time that you had an experience with weed. I want you to imagine floating back in time, at your current age, seeing that younger version of you. And I want you to notice certain things about you back then. How you dressed, how you styled your hair, your mannerisms. And as you observe, you can't help but notice that you were very different back then. And maybe there was an element of exploration, discovery, or connection with different people. And I wonder if you can come to the conclusion that who you were back then is not who you are now in your 30s. And maybe there was a time that weed gave you more than it took. But recently, maybe it feels that even when you're stressed, even when you're bored, it doesn't really do what it used to do. I want you to feel deep inside that it doesn't really feel aligned with who you are now. And I want you to see over time, from that very first time all the way up to the present, and just observe how this relationship with weed started off like many relationships do. Desire, enthusiasm. But more recently it feels you're just going through the motions. And I want you to think of a place that you know well where you feel relaxed. Maybe a place in nature, a park, a beach, perhaps somewhere else, and just imagine stretching in that place. And as you breathe in deeply, you feel a sense of evolved clarity. And as you breathe out, just allow your shoulders to drop, your mind to relax, and your focus to turn inward. Because here, right now, there's nothing you need to fight and nothing to hide. Only a quiet recognition that something inside you is now ready to change. Because there comes a time in every relationship when you realize that something or someone no longer serves you, and you can appreciate what it gave you and still know that it's time to move on. And I want you to think back to someone you used to be in a relationship but aren't anymore. And imagine standing in front of someone like that. Someone that was in your life for a long time and now isn't. And maybe at first that relationship felt good. Perhaps comforting, fun, or familiar. And then there were times where you felt bored, when you were stressed, or when life felt overwhelming. And I want you to get a sense that sometimes, for the good of them and the good of you, it's time to move on. And I want you to recall that definitive breakup. And maybe it came from a place of certainty, a deep resolve that even though it gave you pleasurable things in the past, it's not healthy or positive for your future. And I want you to get a feeling that that's how you feel now about weed. Imagine weed being a relationship that used to give you something that was beneficial in some way, but now you see them for what they really are. Something that's no longer keeping its promises, no longer giving what they used to give. And there was a time that you truly believed that you needed them, but now you can see clearly they're holding you back. They're getting in the way of the identity that you truly desire. That evolved version of you. And maybe you had a relationship in the past with an ex that wasn't quite right for you. And maybe you broke up and they promised they would change, but they never did. They were who they always were, and it required you to make that change. To draw a line in the sand and say, I'm done. Because recently weed has been taking more than it's giving. And let's be honest, just like an old hairstyle, you've outgrown them. And I want you to imagine having that conversation with weed like it's a human. As if they're standing right in front of you. And imagine what you would say to break up with them. Maybe something like, we've had our time, but that time is over. Or, you helped me once, but now you slow me down. It's important I choose myself, my health and my future. And you can even thank it for those memories, those lessons, the comfort or the escape, and still know with absolute certainty you don't need it anymore. Because of what you used to get from weed, you can now get from you. When you're bored, you can write, draw, or create. You can open a notebook, fill the page with thoughts, shapes, and ideas. Because creation connects you to something deeper. And when you're stressed, you can stretch. You can move, learn, and grow. Maybe it's a good book or a documentary. Because learning expands your world. While weed used to just distract and shrink from it. And if you're really overwhelmed, you can pause, breathe, reflect, reprioritize, and you can be curious instead of escaping. Because you've learned that peace doesn't come from weed. It comes from clarity. It comes from putting you first. And I wonder if you can imagine holding that last cartridge, the one you've decided to destroy. Maybe you can feel the weight of it in your hand. The old pattern, the old comfort, the old identity, but not you anymore. Perhaps you can imagine holding a hammer, and you can sense deep power awakening in you. The power of choice, the power of finality. And imagine colliding that hammer with that cartridge, a clean break, and the cycle ends. And in that sound, that shattering moment, something inside you shifts forever. The old you is gone, and the new you has arrived. And then imagine taking the remains of that symbolic ritual, the destruction of an old habit, and putting it in the trash just before it's collected, and feeling a sense that you are stepping into a new identity. And I want you to think that your 30s are not a continuation of your 20s, but an upgrade. In the same way that when you upgrade your phone, you don't use the old one because the new one is better. So consider your 30s a significant upgrade. A new chapter where wisdom replaces impulse, clarity replaces fog, and discipline replaces dependency. And you're evolving now into someone who chooses presence over numbness, connection over escape, and growth over comfort. And you can look back and see that weed was part of a younger chapter. A chapter that has had its time, but now just isn't needed to help you thrive. And maybe you can recall a particular hairstyle. You used to make so much effort to have that style, and one day you decided that wasn't you anymore. It didn't resonate with who you are, and you didn't need to use force or discipline. It just was a part of your past, and allow weed to be that for you now. It doesn't fit the person you're becoming, because you're creating a life that's too vibrant, too full, too real, and weed doesn't belong in that future. And I want you to think of the triggers, maybe the time of day, or the emotion, or the feeling, or the place. And every time those old triggers appear, your subconscious will automatically guide you toward the healthy, creative version of you, knowing that you have infinite better options. And when boredom appears, you can do something creative, stimulating, challenging, write, draw. Something creative, something stimulating. Because your mind is built to express, not suppress. And when stress appears, you've got so many choices there too. Remember when you've dealt with similar stressful situations well. Think back to those times you felt incredibly resourceful. Or maybe breathe and stretch and move or reflect. And when overwhelm arrives, you can make a list of all the things that feel overwhelming, and just getting it out of your head reduces the overwhelm. No need for escape, no need for distraction. Because you in your 30s doesn't run away from difficult things. You handle them. And I wonder if you could imagine yourself, perhaps a few months or a few years into the future, and you see yourself even more evolved. The trajectory that you're on, the momentum that you're building, has taken you to a place of even more success, even more health. Maybe you see yourself in the ideal relationship, living the kind of lifestyle that fits with this new, evolved version of you. And I want you to see that every area of your life is enhanced, socially, emotionally, physically, everything. Everything has improved because of your evolution. See yourself connected, grounded, and real. And notice that weed is just no longer part of your identity and hasn't been for a while. And I want you to think of that breakup. Sometimes a breakup can feel painful, but it creates space for a new relationship. And the new relationship, after you break up from weed, is a healthier relationship with yourself. So allow that to feel that that is who you are, and that is who you are becoming. Step into that future version of you, perhaps years from now, and feel how good it feels to have not used weed for many years, and you don't miss it. You can think nostalgically about how it used to be part of your life, but just isn't anymore. And all of this comes with a decisive decision that you are already comfortable making. The ritual is just a symbolic representation of a decision you've already made. It's time to leave this future and return to the present with a new sense of clarity, determination, and alignment that this is just who you are now. Weed-free and evolved. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.